Short Stories, and I'm here interviewing Laurel Snyder about her brand new book, Bigger Than a Breadbox. So, well, it's nice to have you out here.
So nice to be here. Thank you, Emmeline.
Well, Bigger Than a Breadbox is finally here. Just people are excited. How does it feel to feel all the buzz?
It's been a really different book than any of my other books, and I think part of that is that it feels really personal because a lot of this book I took from my own childhood. So I've been really excited that it's been getting talked about a lot, but I've also been really nervous because I feel like everyone I know will read it and know about me, which is different than if you're making up a story altogether. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but it's exciting. It's mostly happy.
Well, I don't want to give anything away, but in an early scene in Bigger Than a Breadbox is the parents begin to this. Did this come from real life?
Yeah, that's a pretty true story. Well, I mean, I think a lot of what you do in writing is you take things that actually happen and you turn them into something else, and then you take things that you make up and you try and make them real, right? It's sort of about making real things into imaginary and imaginary things into real. And so, so it is true that my parents split up, and I took a lot of the emotions of that and I put them into the story, but the actual specific details of the story I made up. Does that make sense? So like,
yes.
My dad didn't lose his job driving a cab because he wrecked his cab, and like my mom wasn't a nurse, and like she didn't like one day up and leave him and like drive us away. Like that didn't happen, but that was how it felt. If that makes sense.
Have you ever used your childhood or your kids' childhood for other stories?
Yes, definitely. But again, I mush it into things. So like I'll take a little detail from my childhood, like a memory of, like there's a scene in the book where she's eating an Oreo, and she describes like the way the Oreo feels in her mouth, kind of thick and pasty. Those are the kind of details I tend to take from things, from people, or like little bits of conversation, stuff like that, and kind of knit them together. I try not to take things directly from my own kids, because I feel like those are their stories and they might want to use them later. And in terms of like taking things from my own childhood, again, like the smaller the details, the better they are.
Also, I've noticed that there are a lot of magic in your novels.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, I believe in magic. Does that sound crazy because I'm a grown-up?
No, not awesome.
I think that if you can't prove that magic doesn't exist, and so I feel like it's better to believe in magic than not believe in magic, because what advantage could there possibly be to deciding that like magic doesn't exist? So the thing I like increasingly am interested in is the place where magic and the real world come together. I like stories about real children that have magic adventures, and I like stories about magical things that feel more real. So like in Any Which Wall, the unicorn being named Jeffrey. Like I feel like, sure there could be a unicorn, but if there could be a unicorn, it doesn't have to be named like Princess Christabel, the purple unicorn. Like it could be like a horse-looking unicorn named Jeffrey. So it's, so I guess that's how I feel about magic. I think that a lot of grown-ups still believe in magic, but they call it different things like religion or science, because it feels silly for grown-ups to believe in magic. So I prefer just to stick with that.
Favorite writing to write, like a poetry?
It's true, I'm all over the place. Poetry will always be the first thing, like my first genre. But what I'm trying to do now is to figure out how to use the poetry and use the skills that you sort of develop in poetry to do other things. It's probably most fun for me to work on picture books. But the thing about picture books is you could try 50 that don't work before you get to one that does. Whereas with a novel, you just kind of keep working every day. So I like to do both at the same time, sort of come up with crazy ideas for picture books that will never happen at the same time that I'm plugging away on a novel. But I like picture book writing best. It's really fun. And it's really fun to watch the pictures. It's really fun to sort of see somebody else and see what they turn your ideas into on the page. But if I could wish for anything with a magical bread box,
Even for something that didn't fit.
even for something that didn't fit in the bread box.
Why not?
If I could have something that didn't fit in the bread box, so I could have like world peace.
Why not?
Well, sure, then let's go for world peace. But the thing about books and we could cure hunger, maybe that would be pretty awesome. But the thing about books is that magic in books always has a way of backfiring on you. So like if I wished for world peace, we would get it, and then something like then the aliens would arrive from like some galaxy far away and like conquer us because we were all peaceful. So I feel like whatever you wish for, you're kind of in trouble. So you might as well just wish for like a cupcake. You know, you're like pretty safe wishing for like steak dinner or like something that you lost that belongs to you, but that you're missing. Yeah. So I don't know. What would you wish for?
Um,
See, it's not so easy.
yeah, I get it now.